Shri Krishna, Shri Krishna, Shri Krishna, Shri Krishna. Gurur Brahma, Gurur Vishnu, Gurur Devo Maheshwaraha, Guru Sakshat Param Brahma, Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha, Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shukacharya ji tells Parikshit on his inquiry as to why the different siddhis which were acquired by Rishabdev, he did not accept them. They are the most wonderful, important upadesh, instruction for every seeker is never trust your mind. Keep the mind under strict vigilance. One single fall in Vivek Chudamani, Bhagwan Shankaracharya writes, one single fall, he describes it like the kandukavat. If a rubber ball slips from your hand when you are on the 21st floor in the steps, only once it falls. Then you run after that. You can never catch it. In the same manner, when we do one compromise, the mind will have sway over us. Therefore, na kuryat karhichit sakhyam manasi hyanavasthite. After having given this important thing, then yesterday we have seen that Bharat became the king and our country, India, was called as Ajanabha. Before it is called as Bharatavarsha or Bharatavarsha. And then after Bharat became the ruler, there was prosperity and peace everywhere. Therefore, after him, our country is called as Bharata or Bharatavarsha. Now, a very important question is taken up at this juncture in the 5th canto. That Bharat was engaged in conducting many yajnas, yagas, for the prosperity of his subjects, his kingdom, his people. So the question raised is that when we do any yajna karma, the ahutis are offered to the fire. Now who is the one who is offering the ahuti is the yajaman. But the result of that yajna goes to Indra Bhagavan. So actually the result should come to the one who is doing the karma. How it is possible and what is the meaning thereof? So here Bhagavad Shastra gives us the most important topic. And the topic is, this topic comes also in the 9th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, that the Lord alone inspires a yajaman to conduct the yajna. The Lord alone inspires the Indra Bhagavan to be the receiver of the offerings. And in this way, in the form of the one who is conducting the yajna and in the form of the one who is receiving the yajna ahuti, it is the one supreme self. In the 9th chapter, Bhagavan says, Yajna aham, ajyam aham, dhata aham, mata aham, everything I alone am, mantra aham, swadaham. Meaning, by this yajna karma, what is achieved or what is to be achieved? Again in the 5th chapter, Bhagavan says, Bhoktaram yajna tapasam, sarvaloka maheshwaram, suhrudam sarva bhutanam, nyatva amam shanti mruchati. He who recognizes me as the one who is receiving the results of austerities in one's own life, tapas, And yajna, when we live for others. So when we follow tapasya, austerities, by that the Lord is pleased. And when we live for others, then by our life for others, the Lord alone is pleased. Because Surudam Sarva Bhutanam. He is the friend of everyone. In this way, he who recognizes the Lord, he alone attains peace. So to tell this important factor, this Bharata Charitra is brought. And Bharat was knowing all this, and therefore as a result of his yajna karma with this knowledge. Now there are two things. One, doing the yajna karma without the knowledge and doing the yajna karma with the knowledge. What is the difference? It is something like when you are taking tirtha or a glass of water and you just drink it because you are thirsty. Now that will quench your thirst, no doubt about it. But when that water is given to you, suppose you are in the formidable land where no human beings live, and suppose there you are thirsty and you are taking that glass of water, and that time if you come to know that this glass of water which is given to you is none other than Ganga Jala. So what will be the difference? Not only the thirst will be quenched, but also there will be a fulfillment of having received the God's blessing. In the same manner, when we do some karma, when the karma is done under the influence of ignorance, the result is the external gains we do get. That is called as shrama. That will be the labor that we get. But when the karma is done with knowledge that for whom it is done and who is doing, and in this manner, when our attention is on the Supreme, not only the external gains we have, but we are also purified and the mind is tuned. This is the technique by which we transcend the limitation of karma and enter the kingdom of devotion. So duty is converted into devotion by knowledge about karma. So this was known to Bharatji Maharaj, and therefore his all yajnas were always successful. And in this way, when he lived his lot, he handed over his kingdom to his son. Now see, everywhere you will come across this. Nobody has to go and kill the father to occupy the seat. So, everywhere they themselves gave way. Let the next generation take over. Our place, everybody has got a retirement age. Isn't it? Except the great Mahatmas destroying the country. No? Either they are ruling the country or ruining the country. For them there is no age bar. Only Yamaraj alone can come and help us. So we must all pray to the Lord, "Oh Lord, please help us." Because we have failed. Only your blessings alone can help us. So, Bharatji handed over his kingdom to his son, and then he went to Nepal. That time there was same condition like today, no visa is required. That time even passport was not required. So, there is a river called as Gandaki river. And the stones from the Gandaki river, they are special kind of stones. They are not the average kind of silicon, but those stones are secreted by some life. And therefore they have got a very different kind of shape. And those of you who will complete the course and take the Diksha, I'll give you prasad as 1 shaligram. And it's a very rare gift. In the last batch, all those students who have done this thing, to them we have given. And that becomes a strong support. So, whenever you are doing your prayers, offering to the Lord, you will never get disgusted and depressed if you are doing your upasana every day. Friends, all said and done, what is required is our mind requires an alamban, a support. Never be too smart to bypass the tradition, the culture, or upasana. Directly, if you imagine that I should start om, 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 om. Nothing will happen. Every day we must sit with our Lord, talk to Him. And then you will see what is the meaning of spiritual progress. So, he went to that Gandaki river, not for collecting the saligram. And thus he was staying in a Vanaprastha lifestyle, all by himself. And it so happened, one day, where he was sitting near his kutia and opposite Gandaki river is flowing. And there was one deer, Mrs. Deer, who was in family way. You know family way? Carrying. In one hotel, I saw one board in Bombay only. There are, two types of accommodation, sitting arrangements. One is for the general public and other when you are going with your families or ladies, you have got a separate enclosure. So there it is written family room or for families. So in one hotel it was written, a arrow was shown, family way. So when I saw that I was laughing and the person who took me, Swamiji, you are laughing here also. I said, read what is it? He said, what is there? It is written, that is the way the families go. I said, no, it is the family way. There is a lot of difference. So that Mrs. Deer was in her family way. And she came maybe for a cup of water on the river bank. And at the very time, somewhere there was a roar of a tiger. I don't know how it was. There was a roar of a tiger. And when the tiger roared, naturally that deer, she got frightened. And because of the frightening, she jumped across the river. And she jumped that way and her baby fell this way and just fell in the waters. Now, that time, Bharatji, he saw poor baby deer will die. So he went rescue. And then slowly, beta, never mind, I'll take care of you. Now, I am your mother, I am your father. And then started looking after. Got a bottle, nipple and feeding. Everything. But he was a grasta, he knew all that. Now, when that slowly the deer was growing, and he became so much attached to that deer. So earlier when he was doing his sadhana or sandhya vandanam or offering flowers or the durvankura to the Lord and doing his puja, that time this baby deer will come and start nibbling at the flowers and the durvankura start eating. But this fellow was now so much infatuated in love, attachment. So puja was secondary and talking to that mera beta became primary. And slowly as the time passed, the baby deer became a baba deer. And thereafter, naturally, that belongs to another species, another jati. How long that deer will be happy in the company of a man? No animal is happy in the company of a man. And therefore, that deer one day saw someone, his friend, must be, I don't know what they call among themselves, let us call it a girlfriend. And then he ran away with her and never to come back. And thereafter, this Bharatji Maharaj, all the time thinking about that deer. My small little baby, I don't know where it must be. Some tiger may come and eat, whether he had his food or not. This was the time when I was doing puja. He used to come and rub his horn to my body, and I used to feel so good. But now I am missing all that. Where it will be? Now Bhagwan is forgotten, and a useless deer animal became the main concern of his thinking. And in this way, one day Bharatji died with the last thought of a deer. And after this body was discarded, the next birth he got that of a deer, because yam yam bhavam smaram tyajatyante kalevaram. So whatever is the last thought, with that thought when we leave our present body, we get that last thought as our next birth. So somebody, suppose, just at the time of dying, he is a glutton, all the time thinking about eating, and because of the illness, he was not given the kind of food he wanted, and then when the last moment came, his children asked, Papa, now anyway you have to go. What is your last wish? Please tell. And if that Papa says chicken and dies. So what was the last thought? Chicken. So next life he will not become a human being to eat chicken. Next life he will become cock. He will become a chicken. So this is the praman. Bharatji at the time of dying was having the thought of deer. So he became deer next life. Then those people who are constantly thinking about their dogs. Isn't it? Suppose whatever good work you have done, great sadhana, a lot of meditation, everything, and at the time of your departure from the body, you suddenly remember how nice that bulldog was and died. So the mind has taken a shape of a bulldog. But you have done a lot of tapasya, sadhana. Therefore, Suchinam Shrimatam Gehe. So you will be born as a dog in some Hollywood actress's house. Because you will get all the comforts. Shrimatam Gehe. But only as a dog, not as a human being. So, here one rare thing is said, that although Bharatji was born as a baby deer in his next life, yet he remembered all the sadhana, the devotion that he had in his previous life. So, what is said, that because of our last thought, whichever body we may get, but if we have spent our time in remembering the Lord, we have practiced devotion, it will never be wasted in whichever body we are born. Then for that devotee, the body does not remain as a criteria for evolution. So, this Bharatji was born as a deer, and he spent his life in that body till it was destined to live, and thereafter he discarded that deer's body also. And then he was born in a house of a Brahmin. And when he was born, he was remembering everything. And after he was born, his mother died, then his father got married to another lady, the stepmother. Then she started troubling him, and her own children were trying to be rowdy with him. And his name was Jada Bharat. And he was so great, nothing could disturb him. His parents tried to, because he was Brahmin, tried to get him Yajnopavit and tried to teach him the Gayatri Mantra. He could never recite even once. Father was frustrated. Tried to send him in every kind of school. Everywhere he failed. Then he was sent to Sandipani. There also he was not accepted. Not accepted. And then all of them have written him off. This fellow is good for nothing. And he has no complaints. He wanted nothing from anybody. He was not even aware when he is walking whether the ground is flat or up and down. You will fall 10 times. And in this way, he was leading a life of no concern about anything. And one day it so happened that the dacoits caught hold of him because they wanted to offer a bali offering before the Kali Mata, and the animal which they have caught, somehow that animal ran away. And therefore there was nothing to offer the bali. And this Jadbharat Maharaj, he was comfortably going, they caught hold of him. He walked with them, chalo, chalte. And because the bali is to be offered, so the prasad is clean, washed. So he was given a nice bath and everything. He was very happy, continue, no problem. And after that was done, then he was brought for being offered as a bali before the goddess. And that time the goddess Kali Mata sees, here is a Brahmanishta Purush, Samatvam Yoga Uchchate. He who has got Samata, he had no appreciation when the dacoits gave him food and bath, and he had no complaints or regrets or hatred when they were offering his bali to the Lord, to the goddess. That time goddess herself comes and destroys those rakshasas or the dakus. Now after that is over, Bharatji Maharaj again walks out. Nobody can tell him where to go, where not to go. Total freedom, avdhut. And when he thus started, there was one great king, Rahugan. And the story tells that this Rahugan was the same deer who lived in the company of this Bharatji when he was animal. And because of his satsang with the great Mahatma, his many lives were already washed away, and in only 1 or 2 births he was born as a king, Rahugan. And right from childhood, he had a great attraction and attachment for satsang. And therefore he was going for satsang in the palanquin, and the 4 persons are carrying him to Kapilji Maharaj for satsang. And one of the 4 fellow became ill. So 3 cannot carry. And they found here is a very hefty, strong person. Hey, idhar aa jao. He said, okay, aa jao, aage. And then started putting him on the shoulder and start walking. So he who could not walk 2 steps properly, keeping this thing on the shoulder, how can he walk? And when he started doing that, there were lots of ups and downs. 2-3 times the planking fell down, and then the king became very angry. He scolded those people. So they said, we are not at fault. This fellow we caught hold of because the other fellow was ill, and he is creating all the problem. You scold him. And then that king starts scolding him. And when he starts scolding him, that if you do not carry me properly, I am going to punish you. Understand? And that time, this Jadbharatji Maharaj opens his mouth. And then he says, who is carrying whom? And who will punish whom? The gross body is made out of 5 elements. This palanquin is also made out of 5 elements. The body which is sitting inside is also made out of 5 elements. So 5 elements are carried in the 5 elements, and in that 5 element there is another 5 elements. So who is carrying whom? Who will punish whom? Try. When this was said, immediately the Rahugan king, they understand that here is a genius, not just any person. And then this Rahugan asked a number of questions to this Jadbharatji Maharaj, and then he answers. Now that is another very important topic. Now before we go to that topic, few important things to be known. See, when we are studying these different aspects and the stories in Bhagavad Mahapurana, what is required is we have to dig and discover the gems hidden behind every story. That is our genius. It is something like, this thought was told by our Swamiji. When you are having a long straight drive, after some time there is a lullaby effect. Go on. Alertness disappears. If the road is geometrically straight with a proper angle, even there is a availability of this facility in the cars. You fix your steering and the speed. Nobody on the road for next 100 miles. And this much distance, this much time. So you adjust it, put it on and relax. The car will reach there. When it is reaching that point, it will give alarm. Then you get up and get it. Now this lullaby effect happens in our life whenever anything is available very freely and smoothly. Therefore, to keep all Indians alert, we have got many holes which are connected by something called as road. That is why our Calcutta is a holy city. Those who have gone to Calcutta, they can see there are so many potholes and manholes, and in between there is something called as road. So when you ride there you understand you have really reached the holy city, and any time you get into the hole. Now when the road is straight, without any disturbance, this dullness of mind comes. Similarly, when you are reading the terse text or a story form, and in that the mind becomes quiet and understanding doesn't take place and one goes to deep sleep. This is the reason why many students go to sleep in meditation. This is the reason. What is the reason? We have not learned how to keep the mind thought free and yet not to enter deep sleep. This is a great balance. And unless this balance comes, we cannot progress further. And for that, our teachers tell us that when you have become calm and quiet, your body is firm and steady, your respirations are shallow and slow, your mind has become relatively quiet, that time don't allow the mind to be absorbed to its source and join with him. No. Then that time, take such mantras for contemplation. That is called as mantra sadhana. Somebody asked our Swamiji, you don't give us mantra. Swamiji said, I am talking on Bhagavad Gita. Every shlok of Bhagavad Gita is a mantra. I am talking on Upanishad. Every word of Upanishad is a mantra. What more mantra you want? Something to be spoken in the ear? समझ में आ गया? Only by talking in the ears, nothing happens. Of course, tickling you get. Not more than that. Therefore, when we read certain statements, like let us take one example, that our Kenopanishad will tell us when we study in detail. The student asks a question, kindly tell me that which is behind everything. What is that? So the teacher says, it is the everything of everything. Because behind everything means it is everything of everything. The student looks stupid as usual, not understanding what is said. So the teacher says, look here, Don't try to look at Paramatma with your eyes. Na tatra chakshur gacchati, close your eyes. Na vak gacchati, close your eyes. Na manaha, close your mind. Na buddhi, not intellect, close your intellect. And don't go to sleep. Then what is to be done? I'll tell you what my Guru told me. He told me that the truth is other than the known and unknown. Now after we have controlled ourselves and become totally quiet, now that quiet mind is to be engaged again. Bring it out. Don't allow it to go to its own source. Bring it out. And let that mind investigate. What is the meaning of other than known and unknown? What is the meaning that I am other than body? Now contemplate on this thought. And when this thinking goes deeper and deeper, and we are able to get the correct meaning that I am other than body means what? When that meaning really becomes available to us as our own knowledge, then there is something called as spiritual sadhana properly going on. Not otherwise. Otherwise, malum hai kya? I am not the body, I am not the intellect, I am not... Nothing will happen. That is why it is very, very difficult to communicate the truth, because we are so obsessed with our own hang-ups. And therefore, when these kinds of stories come, that Rahugan's Jad Bharat's 3 lives are given. So, he came to that stage of his life after having lived as a son of Rishabhadev. Then he led a most pious and perfect life as a king Bharata. Thereafter, he renounced everything, then took to Vanaprastha. And when he was leading his spiritual life there, he did only one mistake. He got attached to a deer and he has to undergo again 2-3 births. But in all that, his knowledge about the self was still alive. And he has to work out his own creation. And then he was able to see the reality in and through everything, in and through every situation. So, what this story should tell us as the seekers? Nayamatma balahinena labhya. Normally what happens? Suddenly we become spiritual. Why? Spiritual influenza. High temperature. Meditation. Nothing less. Bhagavad Gita very clearly tells Bahunam janmanamante Jnanavan mam prapadyate Vasudeva sarvamiti Samahatma sudurlavaha. So it is our birth number. Decide yourself. This is subjective. This cannot be told. If our mind is able to be totally withdrawn without efforts, if we are able to be free from all obsessions, if we are able to maintain equipoise, this doesn't happen as an accident. Bahunam janmanam ante. Many lives are required to be sacrificed on the altar of this sadhana. And therefore, what we should learn, there is no hurry-burry in spiritual unfoldment. Arey bhai, jaldi karna. No jaldi. Similar story comes in Sai Baba's Pothi. There was one person, very rich, and he comes to Baba and he says, Baba, I have come. I don't want anything of this world. I want pure Brahman. Straight away. And his was the unique method of giving the knowledge. So he says, okay, sit down. Nobody like you comes. Everybody comes here. Somebody comes for getting children. Somebody comes for removing the diseases. A seeker like you is rare indeed. I am blessed today that a seeker seeking Brahman has come. And then he sends one child to 5 houses to get 5 rupees. Go to Mr. X, beta, and get 5 rupees. Now he was Sarvagya, he knew that person is not at home. So he goes, Baba, he is not there. Okay, you go to Mr. Y. Again the same thing happens. But he doesn't get 5 rupees. And this man sitting with 500 rupees in his pocket, not wanting to spare one 5 rupee note for 1 hour. And then he says, Jaldi karo, I have already a return ticket. I don't have time. Hurry up. Give me Brahman so I can go back. Then he says, in your pocket, that 500 Brahman is sitting. Unless that Brahman disappears, the original Brahman will not come. No, if you want, I can give you how much you want. This kind of dispassion has no meaning. Therefore, the teachers do not give knowledge unless they see where the knowledge is given, whether the pot is holy or unholy. Isn't it? If it is a holy pot, there is wastage of knowledge. Let it be a properly sealed one. And this is observed by the teacher, and the teacher gives instruction every small little thing. Those who had the opportunity to be with Gurudev, how smoothly and minutely he was giving instructions. Those who are subtle enough to get the message. This is how the knowledge is passed. And the same thing is done through these various stories in Bhagavatam. Now here the story goes so smooth, laughing, giggling, but how much subtle truth is hidden behind. If we are able to read between lines, then alone we are able to discover the silence between the sounds. And then that which is beyond the sound and the silence is the reality. Sri Krishna, Sri Krishna, Sri Krishna, Sri Krishna. When Jad Bharatji was scolded by the king Rahugan as to why he is not carrying the plank pen in a proper manner, and if you repeat it, you will be punished. On this, Jad Bharatji Maharaj says, with a smile on his face, Prasan Iva, the sign of wisdom and the sign of firm abidance in the truth is, there is never a remorse on the face or frustration in the heart. If there is depression, dejection, anger, frustration, even for a moment, understand we have to go for dry cleaning. A lot of dirt, impurities, and a very strong ego is existing. Therefore, now and then, when we walk on the spiritual path, of the many expressions of the Maya of the Lord in our life, one of the expressions is that we start thinking, probably I am getting realized. Probably I am realized. When this illusion comes that I am getting realized, it is the most detrimental aspect of spiritual sadhana. And how that comes, we start imagining that my words now become truth. Maybe Vak Siddhi has come. And then you imagine something, and by a coincidence, Kakataliya Nyaya. There is one Kakataliya Nyaya. There was a tree, coconut tree, and one person just looked at the tree and he just did like this. So the crow went away. And that very moment, one coconut fell on somebody's head. And the Karya Karan Mimamsa was established. That coconut has fallen because I clapped and the crow has gone away, and therefore the coconut has fallen. So, when one thought here and there, when it takes shape, one starts getting the illusion. Probably Siddhis are after me. And when you get into this, God alone can save us. So how the God saves us? He sends a situation in your life when you are made to realize that, hey Moodhamate, how special fool you are. And how do we come to realize that we are fool? Only by one method. When we get hurt even once. This is the barometrical reading. How do we know whether our ego is alive or not? Only one reading. Do we get hurt even once? If we get lots and lots, miles to go before I sleep and miles to go before I sleep. That means from here to hostel. No, sir, we don't wait for the hostel. No, we live in the Vartaman Kal. We live in the present tense. So, when this kind of scolding was given to Jadbharatji Maharaj, he was giggling, laughing happily. And in that smiling mood, he said, look here, whosoever you may be, you are a king, I am told. So, no wise man takes this gross body as Atma. And Atma is someone other than the gross body. And you are having that audacity to say that you will punish me? Try. You cannot punish me. Because the Atma is beyond the purview of punishment. That Atma is not staying in your kingdom. When this was said, suddenly that king Rahugan, he said, "Arey, this is not an average guy. He looks like that, but something extraordinary." He immediately comes out of the palanquin and he says, because he was always doing satsang, he knew his maryada. He said, I am not afraid of any calamity in the world, even if the Vajra of Indra comes and strikes me. Even if the Brahmastra comes, I am not afraid. But I am afraid only for one thing. And that is, am I responsible for insulting the devotee of the Lord? Am I responsible for hurting the Brahmanishta Purush? And if that happens, I am most afraid of only one thing in this world. That let me not be the cause to insult or disrespect any Brahmanishta Purush, Samatvanishta Purush, any devotee of the Lord. Now be very attentive. If we imagine that we are Satsangatve, Nisangatvam, Nisangatve, Nirmohatvam, if we are practicing satsang, and if this one principle, one point has not gone in our heart, It is only Nana Chitra Ghatodara Sthita. All the knowledge is leaking out. So what is that one principle for all of us to understand? If we are not able to respect anybody, never mind. Let us not have a single isolated thought of disrespect about any saint or sage.
Om Purnamadaha Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om. Sri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om.